guys, welcome to the adventure. Today we're going to go over some winter weather driving tips for you because across the nation winter has hit and there is snowstorms coming. If you don't know who we are Simple Livin. I'm Angie.
I'm Scott.
And this is Trucker Dog Lily.
Hey,
and we have over 2 million accident-free miles driven. So you want to just go ahead and slow it down. We're not in a race, and no company has ever said, why did you take so long to get here safely in bad weather? That's not going to happen. So slow down, take your time.
So the biggest thing you need to be prepared for is stupid people. Stupid people, stupid people, stupid people. They don't care about your life, they don't care about their life. They're just in a hurry to get to where they're going. But see, my priority is taking these two girls here, driving Miss Crazy and my pretty dog Lily. I mean Miss
Driving
Daisy.
Miss Daisy.
Miss Daisy, yeah.
Yeah,
Miss
so
Daisy.
you want to pretend like you're driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
And when bad weather hits, you're kind of just, just going with the flow and letting the stupid people go, right? So one of those things is speed. Let's talk about speed right away.
Okay, speed. So if it's snowing, you need to adjust your speed for the condition.
So like when you're coming in the mountain conditions and it's twisty and turny, try to make sure you're slowing down and preparing for those turns ahead of time. You always want to try to brake, or slow your speed before going into the turn.
Little speed can also be bad too, because if you start up that incline and you don't have enough momentum to carry you up the hill, what happens? Your tires start spinning, and then everybody else behind you starts spinning, and then everything just becomes a big mess.
And then you might find yourself getting towed up the hill. Not good, because now you just shut down the highway. Everybody knows if you have to call a wrecker, that's 2 to 3 hours minimum downtime that you just shut down the highway, or at least that lane of travel that you are stuck in.
And where we come from, that's called a preventable accident.
Yeah, our old company was really, really strict. If you got 3 tows or preventable accidents within 2 years, that was rights for termination. So we come from old school trucker of the hard knocks. Yeah, so don't get yourself towed. You're just putting yourself and the people behind you in jeopardy, because now you're stopped in the lane of travel and the person behind you might not be able to get stopped. They might not have a good response. They might hit the back end of you and a pile up can unfold. So make sure if you do start to slide out, actually give it a little tiny bit more fuel. See if you can pull through it, and yes, you might slide a little bit, but a lot of the times you're going to be able to gain back traction. So you might need to move over to the right, because that way you can get out of the tracks that are slippery and you can gain a little bit of traction in the snow that's not packed down, that's not going to have some ice and things like that. So what about if you're just like going along and you don't even know that the weather conditions are bad, because you're not getting the big picture and you don't even realize that it's cold enough to hit black ice.
And actually this happened last year in March. It wasn't raining, but I ran into a hailstorm out of nowhere.
I was sleeping, thank goodness.
3 cars rear-ended each other in the right lane. There was no lights because, they crashed. And I seen one set of headlights over in the median. There was another truck that rolled over, and it was only like a 3/4 of a mile stretch that was an inch of hail. But man, talk about scary. Just out of nowhere. Boom, 65 miles an hour hitting an inch of man, it was scary.
So obviously he got out of the pedal right away. And in those kind of situations, you don't want to hit the brakes right away. So let's go right into brakes and how braking is better for you. So brakes, you're not going to want to go stab braking. So when you're coming across situations like we were talking about earlier, you're going into a turn or you're getting ready to come across a bridge, because bridges do ice faster. There's signs that tell you guys that, okay? Take it serious.
Big yellow ones.
Yeah, you can't miss them. They're even down in Texas. So whenever you're coming up on a bridge or you're getting ready to go in a turn or you're getting ready to come downhill, make sure you adjust your speed in plenty of time. Because remember, there's stupid people around you, racing around you, and you have to be able to control yourself for when they act poorly. Or if you hit black ice or something like that, get out of that pedal, all right? So if you keep watching, we're gonna go over how to increase your reaction time for when things like that happen. We're gonna give you some tips on your reaction time. Have you ever lost control like that? If you have, comment below. Have you hit black ice out of nowhere or come up on hail and just lost it? Comment below if you have. All right, so now we're going to talk about like the space around you. What about space around you? Why do you need space around you?
You got to leave space. You got to have some elbow room.
Yeah. You got to get some elbow room in there.
So you got to leave space in front of you. You got to leave space beside you. If somebody wants to pass you in a big hurry, just let them do their thing, okay? Just take care of your truck, take care of your steering wheels, and take care of your drive wheels, because that's what's going to keep you safe.
Good advice, good advice. All right, so here is an uncommon one that many people are not going to think about. It's parking. Like, you're not going to think about it, but how often do you see on the shoulder, especially ramps or at truck stops, you see those potholes that are like 2 feet deep, and you're like, that thing could eat my truck. I mean, I see it all the time. So in winter weather, remember, the ground freezes, and when water gets in there, that freezes. So now it looks like there's no pothole until your heavy truck goes over the hole. So don't, if it's covered up and you cannot see the ground clearly, do not go in an undesignated parking space. Don't be parking on ramps, things like that. You're just gonna think, oh, I got to a safe place. Yes, I just wanna pull over on the ramp. Don't do that, because the chances of you then rolling your truck at a dead stop does increase. So don't do that.
When the ground's covered in white snow, it's really hard to tell what's underneath of it. And we know parking space is a premium, especially if there's bad weather. People don't want to, you know, they want to do the right thing and get off the road.
The thing is, when you're in the truck stop parking lots or different places like that where you're driving in your truck, never drive over snow that's more than 2 to 3 inches deep, because you don't know what's under that. I know it sounds crazy. Your tires are big and you think, oh, I can plow right through that. I have heard of people running over hydrants, running over small yellow poles or parking curbs, things like that. You don't know what's inside that snow or what they could have plowed up into that pile. Don't drive over snow, super dangerous. All right, so how do you increase your reaction time when bad weather happens? So there's some easy things. One, make sure you're in good driving posture and in form. So both hands on the steering wheel, yep. Feet flat on the ground. Make sure you're wearing boots. Take off your darn flip-flops. Put them up for the day, okay? So boots, good driving posture, and then go ahead and turn off your radio. And make sure you're not accepting phone calls. Just let it be a quiet space, because if things are around you, it's going to enter into your mind, and it allows your mind to be distracted. It's going to pull your mind to other things, and then it's going to create a distraction for your mind, and it's not going to allow you to think as quickly on your feet.
That being said, a CB radio is a good thing to have on at this time, because if somebody has an accident up in front of you, it gives you a heads up. You know, they'll tell you what mile marker it happened at, and that way you can prepare and you're not coming up to stop traffic.
Yeah.
In this case, it can be very, very helpful.
Don't be the truck driver that just hogs up the channel and doesn't allow important information to go on. You don't need to be talking on your CB unless there's an emergency approaching. So by making sure things are slower and you're not allowing things to enter into your mind, because let's face it, when there's like a million snowflakes falling at you, that's enough stimulation for your mind. You don't need the radio and to be sitting up here like this with your flip-flop on and, you know, one hand on the wheel with your automatic. No, make sure that there's not things stimulating your mind and you can think clearly. And that way you also are thinking of an action plan, right?
Yeah.
So the next video is going to be talking about the action plan. What happens if one of these things happen? You go off in the median, your back trailer for us with doubles, it loses complete traction and it comes around and tries to pass you. Or if you're in a 53, it tries to jackknife on you. An action plan, how to think through an action plan and how to save yourself before you bite the dust. All right, so that's going to be the next video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you've missed preparing to be on the road in the winter, make sure you check that out. That's going to tell you what you need to have in your truck so when winter weather happens, you're prepared for that. All right, guys, stay safe and enjoy the adventures. Bye.